Welcome to our Vetera team. Myself, Dr. Escopika, specialist in animal nutrition. Today's our topic is about general nutrition followed by proximate principles. First of all, we should know about who's our father of nutrition. This is a previously asked question and some of the competitive exams. The father of nutrition is Anthony Laurent Lavoisier. This is an important question. Then followed by in general nutrition we will cover about the composition of animal body and plants. In our aspect, plants composition is not important as much, but we should focus mainly on animal body composition. First we will see about water. In water content, it is previously asked in many of the exams. We should know about percentage of water composition in animal body. It's mostly around 60 to 70% of total body weight. Then another important point is water composition will be variable. That too, the water content will decreases as age advances. This is also one of the question asked previously. Most of the time this statement will be asked in assertion and reason pattern. We should know that water content will decreases as the age increases. Then followed by specifically, as we know, the water content is variable. From embryo to mature animal, the water content will vary like this. In embryo, it will be around 95%. In newborn calf, 75 to 80. 5-month old calf, 66 to 72. In mature animal, it will be on average 50 to 70%. Similar to that of animal body, in plants also, the water content is highly variable. As we know, it also decreases as plant matures. It is similar to our animal body water composition. In water aspect, we should know only about that 60 to 70% of total body weight. It will be water in animal body, and also its content it varies, and also it varies accordingly. It decreases as the age increases. This 2 point will be most important and previously asked. Then coming to our fat composition, in fat aspect they will ask where should be the fat is located in animal body. That is, in animal body it's mostly located in adipose tissue under the skin, and then some of the fat will be located around kidney, intestine, and other internal organs. Then coming to fat, in fat we all know fat is nothing but an lipid component. So in fat tissue there will be no water content. It will be less than 1% will be a water content in fat tissues. Then another important point is fat content will be most variable among all the other compositions, as it will be opposite to that of water. In water it decreases as age increases, but coming to fat composition, it fat composition will increases as the age advances. In plant aspect, we all know that in oil seeds there will be more oil content. We are preparing for cooking also, we are extracting the oil from oil seeds. So in plant aspect, seeds will contain more oil, followed by leaves, then followed by stems. In plant aspect we should not focus more, because in exam aspect they will focus only on animal body composition. So then coming to protein, we all know that muscle is mainly made up of protein, that too 75 to 80% protein, followed by in animal body muscle contains protein. Then other parts like hair, nail, feather, hooves, skin, wool, tendons and bones is mostly made up of protein content. Coming to plants, we all know that seeds is made up of protein, followed by legume plants, which is specifically known for its protein content. Then coming to carbohydrates, in this mostly they will ask only two questions regarding this. In animal body, the totally 1% of the total body weight will be carbohydrate. Coming to plant aspect, it's mostly 75 to 80% of the plant content will be carbohydrate. In plants, it is considered as an structural and reserve material. In coming to carbohydrate in animal, it's mostly stored in the form of glycogen for future use. That too, they will ask the location where will be glycogen will be stored. In that aspect, glycogen is mostly stored in liver and muscles. Then it is 1% of the total animal body weight. So this 2 point is mostly important according to exam aspect. Then coming to inorganic elements, inorganic elements is nothing but an ash content or mineral content present in the body. In this, they will ask an descending order of the minerals in animal body. It's previously asked also. Here we should note about how much percentage of each mineral present in the animal body. This is also mostly asked. Calcium 1.33%, phosphorus 0.74, followed by potassium 0.16, sodium 0.16, sulfur 0.15, chloride 0.11, and least content will be magnesium, that is 0.04%. Then you should know about the ascending order of the mineral composition present in animal. So this is most important. It is also previously asked in the topic of general nutrition. Then coming to plants, in seeing plants, the mineral content will be highly variable based on the plant parts and then a soil condition on which it is grown, and then environmental factor also will influence the mineral composition of the plants. In that previously asked question is which mineral will be more in plants. That too, potassium and silicon will be more, that potassium will be more compared to silicon. This is previously asked question. So we should know that in plants, mostly the mineral component present will be potassium and silicon. In animals, calcium and phosphorus will be more, followed by potassium. In among these, you should know mainly about calcium percentage, phosphorus and potassium percentage. These three are previously asked. Then coming to energy storage, in the aspect of animal body, mainly the energy is stored in the form of fat, that too in adipose tissue present under the skin. Then in plants, the mainly the energy storage form is starch. The starch is nothing but then we all know that it is in soluble carbohydrate form. In coming to structure, the animal body structure is mainly composed of protein present in the soft tissues, and then protein combined with inorganic elements or mineral, previously we discussed, will form the bone. So bones and the soft tissue will form a structure of the animal body. Coming to plant structure, it is mainly made up of insoluble carbohydrates, for example cellulose and hemicellulose, and also lignin, but lignin is not a carbohydrate. These two will form the structure of plant body. Then in general nutrition, one more important point we should cover is the ratio of water, protein and ash percentage in the composition of animal body. That too they will ask a fat free animal body composition ratio. In that, water will be, we know on average water will be about 75% and protein 20 to 22% and ash 3%. This is also previously asked how much composition of minerals will be in animal body. That is 3% of the animal body will be made up of minerals. So this is an important point, and the ratio is also important point. That is water will be in 19 parts, then protein 5 parts and ash 1 part. So 19 is to 5 is to 1. This ratio you should remember. Then in general nutrition, these are the points they will ask an aspect of examination point. No need of other contents related to this. If you know these points, it will be enough for that topic of general nutrition. Then coming to proximate principles, the next topic in our syllabus. Mainly we should know about proximate principles. We all know in UG also it's mainly made up of a six component, that is called as an approximate principles. That is, and the six component will be water or moisture, then crude fiber, protein, crude fat or ether extract, and total ash and nitrogen free extract. These six components will form an proximate principles, that is generally called as an Wien system of proximate analysis. That system is called as an Wien system because it was discovered in the place of Wien experimental station located in Germany. So the system is called as an Wien system of proximate analysis. That it is named after a place, that is a Wien experimental station, Germany. It is also previously asked, that is they will ask that the proximate system of analysis is named after scientist or a location. So we should be clear that the Wien is an location where it was discovered. The scientist who discovered was Wilhelm Henneberg and Friedrich Starkman. In the year of 1865, they came to know about this system of analysis, and they compiled that six parameters in one system of analysis. It is called as an approximate principles. In coming to proximate principles, we know that six component will form an approximate principle. In that, moisture will be the first one. Then, in aspect of proximate principles, we should know only about what are the six components and how to determine that, and also some of the important points regarding that parameter. So, in coming to water and moisture, it is determined by hot air oven method. Mostly, it is done at 100 degrees Celsius for 12 hours. So we should know that the duration and degree Celsius we are maintaining, and the instrument we are using for determination, that is hot air oven for moisture estimation. Then some of the important point regarding moisture in the exam aspect is the moisture content of the succulent of it. The succulent name itself indicates it contains a juicy or more moisture content. So in succulent roughage, it is mostly around 80%. That is a green roughage. As such, we cut and fed. It contains mostly 80% moisture content. Then straw, we all know that it is a dried component of remaining parts of the cereal fodder. So straw it is mainly contain since it is dried, it contains mostly 10% moisture. Then hay, we also know what is hay. It also dried fodder, so it contains less moisture, 12 to 14%. Then we should know in animal nutrition we should know one important point that any feed if it is more than 14% moisture, we cannot store for it a long time. It will be spoiled easily. So for storage, we should prefer feeds only less than 14%. This also previously asked. We should know above which moisture percentage feed cannot be stored. That is not more than 14%. Then succulent roughage 80%, straw 10%, hay 12 to 14%. These are the points they will ask in a match aspect or assessment and reason. Then coming to crude fiber, it is estimated using 1.25% H2SO4 and 1.25% NaOH. They will ask that what is the chemical used for analysis of crude fiber. So we should know that percentage and also compound. It is H2SO4 and NaOH. Then it's important as we should know that crude fiber is an insoluble carbohydrate. This word is important. That is, they will ask in assessment and reason. Crude fiber is an soluble carbohydrate. They will give a statement like this, and they will ask that it is right or wrong. So we should know that crude fiber is an insoluble carbohydrate. Insoluble, the word itself indicating that it is not easily digestible. Mainly, it composed of cellulose and hemicellulose component. Then some of the they have classified lignin also in crude fiber component, but it's actually not a true carbohydrate. It's mainly composed of nitrogen and methoxy groups. That is, nitrogen will be 5% and methoxy 5 to 15%. Then lignin is mainly made up of three parts. That is p-coumaryl alcohol, synapyl alcohol, and coniferyl alcohol. These three alcohols will be asked in multiple choice question or in assessment and recent pattern. It is also previously asked in some of the competitive exam. So in this crude fiber component, you should remember that it is an insoluble carbohydrate composed of cellulose and hemicellulose and that too lignin, but it is not a true carbohydrate. Then its composition, there is three alcohol forms of lignin. Then coming to crude protein, the third component of proximate principles, it is estimated using gel apparatus. It is specifically designed for estimation of protein. Actually, it follows two steps, that is a digestion, then followed by distillation. In that and all, we have not required for this competitive exam. We should know only that instrument name, Geldal apparatus. It will be used for crude protein estimation. Then coming to crude protein estimation and Geldal apparatus using distillation process, we will estimate only the nitrogen content of the samples. So we should calculate accordingly using that nitrogen content we have estimated using this apparatus. So for estimation of crude protein, we will have an factor for feed, that is 6.25. For arrival of 6.25, they are considering that all food protein or feed protein will contain 16% nitrogen. So from that 60% nitrogen, and they are deriving that 100 by 16, it will come 6.25. So they are calculating that after estimating of nitrogen, it is followed by the multiplication of fat factor 6.25. We get in crude protein content of that sample, mostly feed. Then in this analysis, they are also using one more reagent, that is Stutzer reagent, that is alkaline copper sulfate. It is also previously asked questions. In match, they will ask a Stutzer reagent. In other column, they will ask copper sulfate or sodium sulfate, like that option they will give. So it is also previously asked a question. That is Stutzer reagent is nothing but an alkaline copper sulfate, which is used in crude protein estimation. They will ask that Stutzer reagent is used in crude fiber estimation. That like they will ask in statement. So for feed only, this 6.25 act as an factor for protein estimation. For milk and cotton seed and all, for milk they are considering that 6.38 as a factor. For cotton seed, 5.30 as a factor. From that we can calculate that In milk, there will be a nitrogen of 15.67 nitrogen percentage of nitrogen. In cotton seed, it is around 18.87 percentage of nitrogen. So these are also three important points regarding this crude protein estimation and general nutrition. So they will ask this factor in match and ask us to correct choose the correct option. So we should know that feed 6.25, milk 6.38, cotton seed 5.30. It is previously asked in question. It is also very important question. Then coming to some important points, crude protein we generally know that it is composed of true protein, that is actual protein content, then a non-protein nitrogen, that is NPN component, like urea component. So another statement they have asked previously is they will ask give the two statement like all food protein contain 16% nitrogen. Then all nitrogen of food comes from true protein. Here they will ask that all nitrogen of food comes from non-protein nitrogen. Like that they will give one statement and ask us to choose the option. So we should clear about this two statement. All food protein contains 16% nitrogen, and it total 16% nitrogen will come only from the true protein content. Then crude fat or ether extract, fourth component in proximate principle, it is estimated using Soxhlet apparatus. Generally, in old method of estimation, in there is a old design of apparatus, it will require 8 to 16 hours for estimation of protein. But now advanced instruments like a Soxhlet in a FOSS, they have introduced that using at around 2 to 3 hours, our estimation will be completed and we can get the result of crude fat present in our sample. In coming to crude fat, we should note that other name itself indicate that it is extract. That is, what are all the compounds which will be soluble in ether will be estimated using this procedure. That includes fat soluble vitamins, since it is soluble in fat will be soluble in ether, so it comes under crude fat content. Then carotene, pseudo fats like cholesterol, wax, lecithin, chlorophyll, alkali substances, volatile oil, and resins. These are also soluble in ether. So it all comes under crude fat or ether extract content. So then the name itself indicate that is crude fat. It is not true fat. Whatever soluble in ether, it will come under crude fat estimation. So these are all the important points they will ask in multiple choice or a statement question also they will ask. So you should know not only fat content will come under crude fat, true fat, that is true fat will come under this. Like pseudo fats like cholesterol, wax, lecithin, chlorophyll and alkali substance, volatile and oil and resin also will come under crude fat. So it's not a true fat representation analyzed in this proximate system. Then coming to fourth component, that is total ash content. It is estimated using the apparatus muffle furnace. In this, we will maintain a temperature of 600 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. So this temperature and duration is most important. And also muffle furnace. They will ask that total ash is estimated using hot air oven. And then another option they will give muffle furnace. So we should know that instrument for all these five components in proximate principles. Then another one important point is in total ash, since it is a mineral component, it need not to get digested. So digestibility cannot be determined for total ash content, like that protein digestibility, carbohydrate digestibility, and lipid digestibility. We can't tell that ash digestibility is this much percentage. Though this is so, this is one of the important statement that digestibility of ash cannot be determined. So it contribute no energy in the feed sample. So these two statement is very important, previously asked. Then the last component of the proximate principle is nitrogen free extract, that is NFE. Here it is actually not estimated like the previous five parameters. It is actually calculated using that previously analyzed five components. So it is generally cannot be determined by analysis. It is actually estimated using the calculated formula. That is on dry matter basis. It is calculated as 100 minus crude fiber plus crude protein plus ether extract plus total ash content. On fresh basis, we should include moisture content also. So it comes like 100 minus moisture, including crude fiber, crude protein, ether extract, and total ash. This two formulas is most important because they will ask that they will interchange this formula. Like on fresh basis, they will give this formula, and then on dry matter basis, they will give this formula and ask is this statement is correct or wrong. So we should know this, and also they will ask this statement. NFE can be determined by analysis like that. So we should be clear that NFE cannot be determined by analysis. Only other five parameters is estimated using an instrument specified for that purpose. The last component NFE is not determined by analysis or estimated. It is actually an calculated value. Then another important point is here we mentioned that crude fiber is an insoluble carbohydrate content of this feed sample. But here NFE is an completely opposite to that. That is, it is actually a soluble carbohydrate present in the feed. So it comprises of, in that we told that insoluble carbohydrate is composed of cellulose, hemicellulose, and then lignin. Here, it is composed of soluble. The name itself indicates it is easily digestible. So it includes simple sugars and then starch, fructans, pectins, and pigments. It and all easily digestible by monogastrics. So the soluble carbohydrate content will be represented by NFE content of the proximate principles. Then followed by Van Soest method. Actually, this is not mentioned in our syllabus, but generally it will be covered under proximate principles. In this, the Van Soest is a scientist who discovered this method. That is a detergent method of forage analysis. Since they are using the neutral and acid detergent for estimation of fiber components, they have mentioned the system as a detergent method of forage analysis. In that proximate principle, we have mentioned that Vinde system of analysis. That Vinde name is comes under a location where it was discovered. Here the Van Soest, it comes under the scientist who discovered this detection method of forage analysis. Here specifically, it is designed for partitioning of carbohydrates, which is not mentioned in our Vinde system, because in Vinde system they have mentioned only crude fiber, that is insoluble carbohydrate, and NFE, it is soluble carbohydrate. Here they are not clearly partitioning the carbohydrates into various components. So the scientists have designed this system for partitioning these components into neutral detergent fiber and neutral detergent solubles, then followed by acid detergent fiber and acid detergent soluble, to easily know the digestibility of the carbohydrate present in our feed sample. So we should know that coming to Mansoist system, should know that word that it is mainly specified for partitioning of carbohydrate, which is not done in Vinde system. This statement they will ask maybe. Then followed by one reagent, it is also they will ask on match CTAB. It is used in Mansoist method of analysis. That is, CTAB means cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. So this abbreviation you should remember that they will ask sometimes in multiple choice question by giving different abbreviation forms. So you should know that cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. It's named as a CTAB reagent. Then coming to analysis aspect, in first of all the feed sample, it is classified into or partitioned into neutral detergent fiber and neutral detergent solubles by boiling the feed sample with neutral detergents at pH 7, because the name itself indicates that neutral, that is the pH will be around 7. So if the feed sample is boiled with a neutral detergent, we can get the components which are and all soluble under neutral detergents and which is not soluble in neutral detergent. So from that we have arrived we can arrive a conclusion that the feed sample contains this much insoluble components, that is neutral detergent fiber, because the name itself indicates that fiber will be an insoluble part of the feed. So the insoluble part will mainly comprised of plant cell wall components, that is cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, and also silica content. Then coming to soluble component, its name itself indicates that neutral detergent solubles. It mainly includes a cell content and pectin. So here you should know that NDF, that is neutral detergent fiber, will include cell wall components, but neutral detergent solubles, it includes cell contents and pectins. That is, cell content, fiber will be cell wall. Cell content is mainly made up of soluble carbohydrates, starch, and proteins. Here, cell wall, we know cell wall is plant cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, and then silica. Then followed by this, we know that this are not soluble, that is it will be digested by the monogastrics. So further we are taking the content of neutral detergent fiber, that is insoluble component present in the neutral detergent. Again, we are boiling this neutral detergent fiber with that of acid detergent solution, that is CTAB, cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide, in 1N H2SO4, that is 1 normality sulfuric acid. We are boiling this fiber component again with this solution. We can then partition the component into acid detergent fiber and acid detergent soluble. That is the component which are and all soluble in acid detergent and not insoluble in acid detergent. That will be termed as a fiber. That is acid detergent fiber. Even boiling an acid detergent solution, it is not digested in the animal body. It mainly comprises of cellulose, lignin, and silica. In a acid detergent soluble hemicellulose. So we should know that here in Van Soest method, these four will be most important. In NDF, cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, and silica. In NDF, soluble carbohydrate, starch, protein. In then ADF comprised of cellulose, lignin, and silica. In acid detergent soluble comprised of hemicellulose. You should remember these four, and also CTAP abbreviation, cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide, and the name where it comes from, the Van Soest method. That is the scientist name as Van Soest. So they named this detection method as an Van Soest method, and it's mainly specified for partitioning of carbohydrates. That's all regarding the Van Soest method and proximate principles. Most of the questions will be asked in this aspect only. If you cover this content, it will be enough. Then coming to third topic in our syllabus, that is water. They have mentioned simply as an water in animal nutrition syllabus. First, we should know that the Rubner, on a scientist, have mentioned that an animal could lose all its fat, half of its protein, and its survival. However, the animal loses one tenth of its water, it leads to death. Here, he is mentioning the importance of water requirement in the feeding of animals. If the animal loses even one tenth of its total water content, that is total body weight water content, it will lead to the fatal condition of the animal. Who discovered this? Who mentioned this statement? You should know that Rubner, a scientist, have mentioned that one tenth of the water loss will lead to death. So you should know the scientist, and also how much parts of the water loss will lead to death condition. So you should know that one tenth of the water loss will lead to fatal condition. Then another important aspect in the water syllabus topic is the sources of water. They will ask a multiple choice. They will give these three options, and they will ask the fourth option will be all the above. So you should know what are the three sources of water. That is drinking water, in water and feed. That is in animals we should mention that feed. In pet animals they will call the feed as and food. So water and feed are food. We already discovered that in succulent fodder it is around 80 to 90%. There is more than 80%. In dry feed it is mostly around 10%. Then a third source of water is metabolic water or oxidation water. Since it comes under oxidation process in metabolism, it is caused as an oxidation water and metabolic water. They will ask that how much percentage of total intake of nutrient will be come under metabolic water. So we should know that 5 to 10% of the total intake of the water will comes from metabolic water or oxidation water. This percentage is most important in exam aspect. From that, the oxidation of carbohydrate will contribute 60% of this 5 to 10% of the metabolic water. Then protein 42% of the metabolic water. Then fat will contribute 100, more than 100%. In this table we can clearly see these differences. From the glucose of 1 gram glucose or sugar oxidation, we will get a zero point 0.6 gram water. From the oxidation of 1 gram starch, we will get in 0.56 gram. From 1 gram protein, zero point 0.4 gram water. From 1 gram fat, we will get around more than 100%. We will get in water content. From oxidation of 1 gram of fat, we will get 1.07 gram of metabolic water. This table is mostly asked in the exam aspect in the match the following. So we should know the exact values of metabolic water content from each substrates. Then in hibernating animals, the only source of the water is metabolic water. And most of the statement they will ask that hibernating animals will get an source of water from drinking water, water in feed, and also metabolic water. Like that, they will mention and ask this statement is correct or wrong. So we should know that in hibernating animal, the only source of water will be the metabolic water or oxidation water. That is 5 to 10% of the total intake of nutrient. Then another statement they rarely they will ask that in man, in humans and dog, the 12% dehydration will leads to fatal condition. So these are all the contents we should cover underwater. There is the scientist Rubner, one tenth of the water loss will leads to death. Then three sources of water. Then metabolic water, it is around 5 to 10%. Then the parts of contribution of nutrients in metabolic water. Then the table, the each substrate contribute how much water. Then hibernating animals, the only source of water is metabolic water. This much is enough recording the water topic in our syllabus. So today we are completing this class with these three topics. There is general nutrition, proximate principles, and then a water, followed by a small question questions previously asked. Here, from our discussion, you can answer easily these questions. Here they have left side they will given proximate principle, right side they will given instrument or method used for analysis. From this crude protein, we all know that it can be estimated by Geldan method. Ether extract it is estimated by Soxlet apparatus. Total ash it is estimated using muffle furnace. Moisture hot air oven. In NFE we cannot estimate this. We can only calculate by using the difference of remaining five parameters. Then another question I have asked previously is which of the following proximate principle is not determined by analysis but simply calculated by difference. This also I have already discussed in our class. CVF is estimated using Soxlet. So crude fiber is estimated using the fiber tech, that is 1.25% H2SO4 and 1.25% NaOH. Then crude protein is estimated using Geldal method. Then total ash is estimated using muffle furnace. The only parameter we cannot determine by analysis, only calculated by differences, nitrogen free extract. So we can easily answer this question if we listened our class completely. So the third question they have asked regarding this topic is digestibility cannot be determined for which of the following proximate principle. We can determine the protein digestibility, fiber digestibility, and also NFE, that is soluble carbohydrate digestibility in animal. The only component which not contribute energy to the animal is total ash. So we cannot find the total ash digestibility in the proximate principles. So like this three model only they are actually covering for our competitive exams according these three topics, that is general nutrition, then proximate principles, then water. So if you all cover these content which and all I have discussed and mentioned in the PDF format, it is enough for this topics mentioned in our syllabus. So thank you all. We will see you in further classes.